The Cloward Piven Strategy seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism. And greetings to my 5 subscribers. I have before me the strangest thing I have ever read that I can ever recall reading. I'm going to read a few words. Allow me to read a few words, please, and tune your ears to anything that remotely sounds like the year 2008, or Obama, or Clinton, or financial, or crisis. First proposed in 1966 and named after Columbia University sociologist Richard Andrew Cloward and Francis Fox Piven, the Cloward Piven Strategy seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government bureaucracy with a flood of impossible demands, thus pushing society into crisis and economic collapse. Inspired by the August 1965 riots in the Black District of Watts in Los Angeles, which erupted after police had used batons to subdue a black man suspected of drunk driving, Cloward and Piven published an article entitled "The Weight of the Poor, A Strategy to End Poverty." Following its publication, the nation sold an unprecedented 30,000 reprints. Activists were abuzz over the so-called crisis strategy, or Cloward Piven Strategy, as it came to be called. Many were eager to put it into effect. In the 1966 article, Cloward and Piven charged that the ruling classes, that would be you, and I wish it was me, but truth be known, I'm really not a member of the ruling class. The ruling classes used welfare to weaken the poor. I know that's what you want to do. You don't want to help the poor. You want to weaken them, control them, keep them down. They even have a name for it. It's called institutionalized racism. That by providing a social safety net, the rich, that would be you, doused the fires of rebellion. Poor people can advance only when the rest of society is afraid of them, Cloward told the New York Times in 1970. Rather than placating the poor with government handouts, wrote Cloward and Piven, activists should work to sabotage and destroy the welfare system. The collapse of the welfare state would ignite a political and financial crisis that would rock the nation. Poor people would rise in revolt. Only then would the rest of society accept their demands. The key to sparking this rebellion would be to expose the inadequacy of the welfare state. Cloward Piven's early promoters cited radical organizer Saul Alinksy as their inspiration. Quote, "Make the enemy live up to their own book of rules," Alinksy wrote in his 1972 book, Rules for Radicals. It so happens that Hillary was a fan of this man and undoubtedly knows this book by heart. And, of course, the skinny guy with the big ears knows this book well. He's taught classes. Alinksy Methods of Community Organizing. Make the enemy live up to their own rules, book of rules, Alinksy wrote in his 1972 book, Rules for Radicals. When pressed to honor every word of every law and statute, every Judeo-Christian moral tenet, and every implicit promise of the liberal social contract, human agencies inevitably fall short. The system's failure to live up to its rule book can then be used to discredit it altogether and to replace the capitalist rule book with a socialist one. The authors noted that the number of Americans subsisting on welfare, about 8 million at the time, probably represented less than half the number who were technically eligible for full benefits. They proposed a massive drive to recruit the poor onto the welfare rolls. Cloward and Piven